What's happening in the world of finance? The Intuition Finance Digest gives you a unique take on the industry's major trends. Corporate governance is concerned with optimizing and improving how companies are managed and monitored, with the goal of benefiting all stakeholders and minimizing downside risks. Shareholders, the board of directors, management, employees, and other stakeholders all have a role to play in ensuring that companies adhere to the highest governance standards. Some of the gravest corporate failures and scandals, not least those central to the global financial crisis, have their origins in poor corporate governance. The outcome of these failures normally has dire implications for many stakeholders: employees, shareholders, investors, customers, suppliers, and sometimes even taxpayers. In more extreme cases, poor corporate governance can severely damage financial markets and the wider economy. But what exactly is corporate governance? Put simply, it's a broad term that describes the processes, structures, rules, and laws by which companies are directed and controlled. Good corporate governance should ensure that businesses are managed in ways that benefit the interests of shareholders and all other stakeholders. The rise of ESG and the sustainability movement as a whole, combined with the social media world we now live in, means that companies face more scrutiny than at any other point in history. Corporate shortcomings can be quickly and ruthlessly exposed by business insiders and others, so corporate decision makers must focus their minds like never before. Properly implemented, corporate governance can enhance the performance of companies, improve their access to funding, and, more broadly, contribute to sustainable economic development. There's no universally agreed definition of the term corporate governance. The structure of companies varies across the world, as do the norms and rules governing business, stock ownership, management, and so on. However, the definition provided by the G20 or the OECD principles of corporate governance are generally regarded as the international benchmark. It states corporate governance involves a set of relationships between a company's management, board, shareholders, and stakeholders. Corporate governance also provides the structure and systems through which the company is directed and its objectives are set, and the means of attaining those objectives and monitoring performance are determined. This definition has been adopted or mirrored by a number of other influential organizations, including the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, also known as the BCBS, which is the primary global standard setter for the prudential regulation of banks. Meanwhile, the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, in its ISO 37000 Governance of Organizations, defines governance as a human based system by which an organization is directed, overseen, and held accountable for achieving its defined purpose. Good corporate governance offers many potential benefits for businesses, stakeholders, and economic and financial systems. The G20 OECD principles set out three key benefits from well designed corporate governance policies. Firstly, access to financing. Good corporate governance can help companies to access funding, particularly from capital markets. This, in turn, promotes investment, innovation, and productivity growth, as well as economic dynamism more broadly. Banks, investors, and other providers of capital have greater confidence in well governed companies. This helps such companies attract funding from a much larger pool of capital providers and at a lower cost. Second, investor protection. Good corporate governance provides a framework to protect investors, including the millions of retail investors who invest directly in equity markets or indirectly through vehicles such as ETFs, mutual funds, and pension funds. Companies with a formal structure that promotes transparency and accountability help to build trust in themselves and markets more generally. This contributes to the creation of an investment environment that provides opportunities for investors to achieve higher returns while knowing that their rights are protected. And thirdly, sustainability and resilience. Good corporate governance supports the sustainability and resilience of companies, which in turn can contribute to the sustainability and resilience of the broader economy. Many investors today focus not just on a company's financial performance, but also on broader economic, environmental, and societal issues. Governments and regulators are also increasingly focused on how businesses are addressing these challenges and managing the associated risks. A sound corporate governance framework that incorporates climate change and other sustainability issues helps companies to respond to the interests of their various stakeholders, as well as contribute to their own long term success. Intuition Know How is the world's premier digital learning solution for finance professionals, and it offers a comprehensive course on corporate governance. Topics covered in the course include the benefits of good corporate governance, the different theories of corporate governance and how they explain why companies might fail, the key principles, guidelines, and regulations that influence corporate governance today, and much, much more. If you would like to learn more about Intuition Know How, visit intuition.com/know-how.